As you probably know, this is the new home of Drake and Company. I suggest that you bookmark the radio site, globalvoiceradio.net, because here is where you will see and hear all of Drake's programs. However, we have planned for those programs to also be simulcast across multiple networks.
This be Drake, and I be on this radio, and I'm not sure exactly how we managed to jump from conference calls and other things to over here, but we's here anyway. And what's fun is that this is where we'll be from now on, and I will be giving updates and things of that nature when I have my show. And I'll let the floor open to whoever might want to say something.
A gentleman by the name of Petey Pablo is asking if you could please comment on the new primary resource for Greenlight, because it will no longer be announced on freedomreigns.us.
I'm going to announce it on my website and on this show. And there's several things that go into this. If you're a member of the American National Militia website, you automatically get an email whenever anything's posted. I will also announce this worldwide, and I have several media contacts who have agreed to interrupt any programming in order to carry such an announcement. This way everybody won't freak out. You'll be a little prepared. Then we have a little bit of notice, a little bit of leeway. You can hold your breath if you want, but it's going to be 72 hours, so, you know, you might be a pretty funny color by the time that's over with. Basically, I'm going to use my website and a couple of others to post things for now. Now,
can you clearly give us your website, please?
Yes, it's AmericanNationalMilitia.com.
And it will also be on the Global Voice 2012?
It can be. They're going to get notification. I'm sure somebody here at Global Voice will join the website so that they get notification. And I'm going to also hook up with RAM and a few other websites, United States Militia. I've got probably 25 or 30 websites I have to put up real quick or notify. So there's going to be a load of different websites that will pick this up. David Wilcox will carry any kind of immediate information of that nature on his site. He reaches about 3 million people. And I've got a couple of combinational press outlets that will definitely be a benefit, because the one in the States reaches about 15 million people. The one in the European Union reaches somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 million people. So the capability of getting word out is not a problem.
There will be plenty of channels for you to get the information that you need to get to, and most of those, if not all of those different information channels will be published on the Global Voice 2012 Facebook page. They will also be posted on the globalvoice2012.us website, and they will be available right here on globalvoiceradio.net and in the Global Voice chat rooms at chat.globalvoiceradio.net. We've got you covered. We will keep you informed. Drake, how did the new digs feel? Did we get you a comfy enough easy chair?
Well, I just did it in one chicken that flew one coop and landed in another one, and so far this one's got a nice roof, and there ain't no snakes and stuff, so I'm in good shape.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Hey, that works for me.
I've got to remember something here, okay? I live in redneck heaven, and I mean that literally in the woods. And people around here say, hey. They don't say hi. They say, hey, and they wave at you and stuff. And you can talk to people sometimes, and you never even end up knowing their name. So what do? Enjoy it, wave back, say hey back. You might even talk to them for a few minutes and never even exchange names. It ain't important, because when you talk to somebody, you can feel what they are. If you know how to talk to somebody, and you listen to them talk back to you, they feel how you are. And this is the way these arrangements, relationships develop into what's known as friendship. But eventually you exchange names. Eventually you find out about each other's families. Eventually, hopefully sooner than later, you get your stuff together with that other person, and you're able to actually help people out. Somebody down the road needs a hand putting some boards up on the garage or whatever. Somebody who can't needs some help. And, hey, man, we can do that. Yeah, you still got them old tools? Yeah, well, let's go fix that. Okay. And off you down the road you go, whatever it might be. Sharing a ride, any old thing. Community is what it's called. It's called localization. There's a lady that I know of that I feel is although she stays local, I feel she is very knowledgeable in the activities. And I look forward to having her participate in this, because we're going to need some expertise, and it seemed to me like she knows her stuff pretty well. It's sort of like asking Terry a question about, something that deals with history. You do get a concise answer, and it's right on. I've never found her make a mistake yet, other than talking to me, and y'all just found out what that feels like. So
obviously, I don't choose my friends very well, huh?
I think it was an accident.
I'm just teasing you. You know that.
Of course.
But thank you.
That's why I invited you to say something. Everybody's sitting back in the back, listening to me, and that's okay. But there are a lot of people, and I mean a load of them, and it's extraordinary when you start looking around just exactly what these people have to offer. It's amazing. I found doctors, lawyers, consummate experts in all kind of different fields, and they're up here living in a cabin in the woods. And I'm going, what are you doing up here? Get away from it all. Well, that's one aspect of it. It's also really nice to look out your window and see a herd of deer. It's really beautiful up here in most any time of the year, and depending on whether or not you like snow, which is a four-letter word anyway. But quite honestly, it's the most beautiful place I've ever been. The wife and I drove up to this house, and we looked, and we felt like we were coming home. Never been here before in our lives, but it felt like we was home. So we said, okay, and we worked it out, and here we are. So that's basically my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it just goes back to community, and it seems to me that throughout history, the name, because it was stolen and morphodized by various trusts of in one way, shape, or form or another. The name has only really been important to the government to identify where their tax money is going to come from, to identify
where their property is.
Yeah, where their property is, and to identify you in a court of law, to get you to accept responsibility for the charges that they brought against you. Names are really only important to the government. People tend to go heart to heart instead of name to name, I guess. Or so I've heard. Or that's what I heard, and I believe it. So, do we have any new people in the conference call system? It's online. Conference is open. We've got 4 callers in there. If we can get somebody to go to Global Voice 2012 and pass along that conference call information, get some more people in here to, tip a hat, say hi-de-ho, whatever. For those of you...
Paul,
yes?
Paul, I would like to tell you that I do thank you very much for welcoming us to our new home and not going into a bunch of negative details other than the fact that Drake and all of us were kicked out of Freedom Reigns.
Right, and that's absolutely the truth. I mean, you were kicked off of Freedom Reigns, and we simply had been preparing for a place for you. And I think we did a fairly decent job. And
I need to qualify that a little bit. I resigned, and I did so for my own reasons.
Okay. Right. Well,
Me too.
most people were kicked off of there.
Well, we were basically told to comply or leave, and we chose to resign because honesty and integrity means everything to us, and that's why we're here. And I also want to mention, Paul, that I'm very honored to be here, and I appreciate the fact that you don't ask for donations here. And Terry and Drake and I never took 1 penny of any donation, and one of the things we were accused of collecting, receiving money from donations. Some of the members were thinking that we were getting paid. None of us ever made a penny for helping Deatra. Never.
Right. And I don't even know how far. Pardon me. Cough drop time. Got him right here on the little side wall next to my microphone. But I think the general consensus is that there was a whole lot of money going into Freedom Reigns, that it was being spread out across the on-air talent, across the administrators and everything, and that simply just was not the case. I don't know where that money went. I'm not even going to make any type of conjecture. I'm not even gonna make any kind of conjecture as far as what happened to the money and all that. We do have a new listener on the conference call. Welcome. Don't know who you are yet. We'll give you a chance to introduce yourself in just a minute. We are adding people to the radio station as time goes on. And I think that what we really need to do is we need to just, talk about some of the lighter points of what we've all been going through over the last couple of months. There's been some censorship going on some information channels. There's been animosity, a lot of it created between people, and I'm not even gonna put forth any conjecture on who the root cause of that animosity was. It just seemed to me that there was a dark energy there, and that it was actually keeping Freedom Reigns down. I firmly believe that had that not been there, Freedom Reigns would have been a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more effective, and there wouldn't have been any need whatsoever to even prepare a place for the people that we did. But
I love Deatra, and I always will, and I wish her only the best in everything.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed to a simulcast. We have a show that comes up that's got important information and it needs to get out there. I would not be opposed to simulcasting Global Voice Radio Network in cooperation with Freedom Reigns. They can grab our programming live as needed, just for the sake of getting the message out. Because the more streams we have going, the more people we can reach. There's Bread and Mother Freedom on the Global Voice Radio Network. Okay, we've got the conference call going back live again.
I'm getting ready to go.
Do we have somebody in the conference call that can tell us if it's working right now?
Yeah, hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is
Hello.
Drew.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm way good, way better than average. Is the conference call working a little bit better now?
It is, yes.
Oh, okay.
At www.spreaker.com. Create your own radio show and find thousands of exclusive.
There we go. Somebody's listening to us on the air. There is going to be about a 30-second delay between live and on radio, okay? Just letting you know that.
Understood.
Okay. So, we are back on, and I would like to thank the person that informed us that the conference call wasn't working quite correctly. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but now that it's all fixed, it's all good. So, what were we talking about before we took that short break to our theme song, which is "Bread," Mother Freedom from the '70s, and well, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. What were we talking about before we took a break?
The lighter points of Freedom Reign.
The lighter points. Yeah, we were talking about the lighter points, and I want to categorically state that there is no animosity between the Global Voice 2012 Facebook page and Freedom Reigns. We are all here for the same thing. We're here to help people come together and form a community, because we have been living separatist lives for way too long. And this is a new day. This is a new year. There's going to be completely new things happening, and life as you know it is going to change completely. But it's going to be a wonderful change. It's going to be a change born out of community, friendship, neighbors, helping neighbors, and coming together for a common collective to actually build the life that the Founding Fathers and the Creator intended for all of us. And we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Uh-oh, I got a comment from Drake in Skype. Bad echo. Do I still have a bad echo?
I'm getting an echo.
Okay, give me just a second. Just a second. That echo will go away. It's just got to resync.
Okay. Basically, I wanted everybody to know that this is intended to be a smooth, clean transition. Whatever it was that transpired on Freedom Reigns can stay there, as far as I'm concerned. I don't have any problems with it one way or the other. The ideology moving was something that was beyond the control of the individuals who decided to move. We were given an ultimatum, and that ultimatum basically entailed condescending to controls that we were not willing to submit to. That basically is the crux of the matter. The other part of it is that there has been some other problems, which I will not go into. But on a lighter note, I keep hearing all these fun and games things about this person and that person and another person getting arrested and others doing this and others doing that. And I'm going to tell you right now that it doesn't matter too much about the rumors. You got rumor mills out there that are going, ooh, martial law, ooh, the military's going to come get you in the middle of the night, and all this other fear porn that I do not agree with, for varying reasons. Now, to enlighten everyone, the last two steps needed to be taken before action can be taken are in process. There's also been a couple of jabs on a personal basis at people that I have quite a bit of respect for. And I've been dealing with that as well. Primarily, my day is filled with a combination of contacts, coordination, and things of this nature that I'm not allowed to share at this point. I can say that I am in contact with the people who are fomenting or creating the situation that will help us take care of our issues of freedom. The ideology here is to make sure that that mission succeeds no matter what. And I quite personally do not really care a lot one way or the other as to what kind of sacrifice I might have to make in order to see that through. Just as the original founders promised themselves in terms of whatever it takes, so do I. Been that way for quite a while. Some people know that and some don't. Some politicians found out the hard way. I used to be extraordinarily politically active in terms of going after politicians. Well, there was a problem with that because you got 3 or 4 of them just like it waiting in line. It's just a different bag of stuff. The problems we face is that you may not, and I mean this I want to be very clear about this, no individual has the capability of their own to directly address the problems that we are facing. specific issues other than taking down those who would control, rule us, etc., are moot in terms of the effectiveness of whatever point it is that you're trying to make. I don't got to have a driver's license. I don't need to do this or that. Well, that's all well and good, except that it doesn't address the basic problem. And that problem is twofold. The first one is that you have an extraordinary, deep-seated, long-lasting organizational effort to not only destroy the country, but also to gain absolute and full rulership and control over you. A lot of people don't see it that way. Well, if you'll notice, and you've been alive in terms of being aware a little bit over the past 10 years, you can see the difference. If you look at the things done and the reports on them, you will find that most of the stuff that's been done is bogus in one form or another, be that science, be that actions taken, be the fact that people can't be in two places at the same time, among other fun and games. The fun and games can only be stopped in two ways. There has to be a voice of as many people as possible. And I mean everybody and their mother-in-law needs to stand up and say, freedom, just as loud as you can from the treetops. Now, we just had a Pots and Pans Brigade, and this was oriented by a certain lady that thought that pots and pans terrorists would be interesting. You can't demonstrate? Oh, well, I'm just walking down the street and clanging a pan. Those people were stated to be terrorists, so we named it Pots and Pans Terrorists. It's going to be a weekly event. If anybody is interested, we will make a post to that effect as to what time and all that. The last one happened at 4 o'clock Eastern Time in the afternoon. This is to allow everyone who can participate across the planet do so basically at the same sort of time. It don't matter if it's the middle of the night. If you walk around a dude's house clanging pots and pans and there's 200 of you, that creates a problem for that politician or that banker or whomever it is you're protesting against. Believe me. In several instances, people just decided to show up. Hundreds and hundreds of them. And they're not in the guy's yard. They're all standing in the public street, moving around, walking back and forth, so that they can't say that they're not moving on or whatever. You talk about scaring somebody. Ooh, police show up. You know, they send in the Marines or whatever. And you walk around the block and come back. People do not understand that Gandhi gave the basis for peaceful resistance. It wasn't always absolutely peaceful, but he set the basis for it. He took a country away from its leadership simply because they couldn't figure out how to incite riots. They couldn't figure out how to make these people violently resist, and they couldn't figure out how to control them because they would come in and they would sit down. Hundreds of them and thousands of them, and what do you do then? Well, not much, obviously, if you look at history a little bit. The second part of this is financial. I am heavily and closely involved with the people that are handling the financial end of things. These are global collateral accounts, and these accounts are huge. They are to refund or restore the funding to what's called lawful or de jure currencies. Now, everybody knows that most of your currency is a debt instrument. What's going to happen is a change from the debt instrument to an equity instrument. Now, this may take place within the same currency. However, you got at least a 2-week period where there may not be any banking. Your credit cards won't work, your debit card won't work. Very simple. You need to be a little bit prepared, a little bit of food laid up, enough for a couple of weeks, say, and enough 64 or before, as they call it, junk silver or U.S. minted silver in our country in order to meet the little expenses, like you want to go out and have a cheeseburger. Well, hopefully they got a postal scale to weigh your coinage and multiply by 85%, and then go to the spot price, whatever that is, and that's the value of that particular coin. These types of things will see you through, and that's primarily what you need to be aware of. In terms of community, if you are looking at being self-sufficient and you don't like being at the beck and call of whomever, having your own place, if possible, growing your own food, no matter what, and it don't matter if you rent or not. And you need to be aware there's a jillion different ways to grow things. They got gardens that grow up walls. They've got what they call platted vertical gardens that primarily came from the eastern climes where the room is not so much and there's a lot of people. You can use mirrors to redirect sunlight and things of this nature. What you got to look at is this. We're very, very close. And there are a lot of people who are in a position to assist with this transition. The military for a long time has been the bad guys. They're tired of being put in that position. They don't like the denigration, or I don't know what you'd call it, the nasty attitude of, ooh, there's the bad guys. Welcome them home from a battlefield with applause, and then watch them real close because they might be funny or something, or they could be dangerous, or they might be an agent of the bad guys or whatever. Well, the military doesn't need that. They don't like it. They haven't liked it for quite some time. They are looking to work with us. This is part of the message that I have been getting out. And for the first time, well, actually the second time, we actually have an honest probability of freedom. And the restoration is going to include a whole bunch of things. The Fed's going to be closed. You're going to have to worry about the stupid IRS. You're not going to have to worry about people coming on your property telling you what you can and can't do, so long as you're reasonable. And the reasonability goes to the legality of no harm, no crime. Common law states that if you don't hurt a person or destroy property, you have not necessarily caused a crime or committed a crime. The other part is the morality of the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Basically, your rights stop where the other person's nose begins. That's not the way to settle it. You talk about it. You figure it out. You find out what can be done and how you can best work the situation so that it's equitable as best as can be done for both parties concerned. It could be many parties. It could be a situation like the Hatfields and the McCoys where you just can't get along no matter what. Well, maybe one of the two of them need to move. I mean, that would definitely, you put enough space between people, and it's kind of hard to have a conflict. One other thing that has struck me over the years, and it's reiterated in a lot of movies. One of my favorite movies, The Outlaw Josie Wales. In that, he's talking to an Indian chief, and he states that governments start wars, not men. Men live together, work it out, they figure it out. They do things so that you don't screw up the environment. You do things so that you don't harm your neighbor. You do things in conjunction with other people. This is the ideology of humanitarianism, brotherly love, and is contained within almost every belief system I've ever heard of. And I've heard a bunch of them. So what you have to look at is this. Is it more fun to be a comedian and tell a joke and have somebody enjoy it? Or be nasty, funky, growl at everybody you see, giving people dirty looks? Which is the better way to conduct yourself so that you are seen as a possible help or friend or extra hand to someone who may be in the position of needing one? I mean, you think about a mother, she's got 2 or 3 kids trying to handle them in the grocery bags. Think about holding the door for her. Think about offering to help her with the bags. Well, she's liable to think that you're a bad guy. Well, fine. Over a period of time, you see that person regularly, make an offer. Most people, if you can make their day a little better, are not adverse or against you doing so. When the delivery man comes to the door, you hold the door for him, makes his job just a hair a little bit easier, but he's going to remember that. It's like being nice to somebody when they're not necessarily being nice to anybody else. There's a whole bunch of things that goes into this, a lot of principle. The ideal, though, here is freedom. And what we have fostered in the way of efforts towards that has basically tired out a whole lot of good people. And I can tell you right now that most of the people that I know, that I'm associated with in what is being accomplished, are some of the finest people I've ever met. Some of them finer than I thought even existed. Believe me, it's like that breath of fresh air when the springtime finally comes out and it smells like God washed everything. You know, it's like a fresh laundry, so to speak. And you go out there and run in the sunlight and roll in the grass, enjoy yourself again. Well, that basically is the idea of this. If the oppression, if the control, if the rulership becomes a personal project of your own, where you actually are the initiator of it, then you can't be a problem to anybody else. Well, sure, somebody's going to have too much to drink. Well, you might end up in a pokey if you're kind of out of control and you might wander out into traffic or something. But the next day, the officer on duty might just give you a ride back to your vehicle, which was not towed, etc. Now you get the idea of a difference. There's been an extraordinary amount of questioning of me about a lot of different things, simply because I've been involved in a lot of them, and consequently I have quite a bit of knowledge in varying areas. I'm not an absolute expert, and you need to know and recognize that I'm also a messenger. I bring forth what I am allowed to and what I'm given by certain individuals. We're making a test of some of this right now in terms of the contact people that I have, and we're going to find out very soon, probably in the next couple of days, as to who's who, who's real, and what's really going on. I'm hoping within the next few weeks that the two legalities that supposedly are holding up the military's actions are taken care of to their satisfaction, and we can get on with this. Now, I'm tired, I'm going to tell you, and so are a lot of the people involved in this. Combination of emotion, combination of making sure what's stated, that it's stated correctly, and it's clear enough that just about anybody who listens to it can understand it. That's the goals. You're going to look to us. A lot of people will, because we did this. You're going to want to know from those who did it, now what do we do? Well, there's a problem with that. And the problem is that we're the people who are interested in truly having and being deserving of freedom are either being schooled or in the process of getting schooled so that they hold enough knowledge to be able to function under the blanket of freedom. It's a warm, cozy place in there. It's really neat. The ideas are just as free as a kid, swinging through the trees or shinning up a pole or riding a bike at the speed of light. It's just that much imagination, that much being loose, that much not having to worry about something that's nasty happening to you just because you're having a little fun. These sorts of things are what life is about. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, if you got a bunch of people sitting around giggling, I've had the cops get suspicious. The problem was we were only having iced tea. We just all happened to agree well enough that we had inside jokes. And the police want to know what we was doing. I said, standing here joking. Well, what do you got in the iced tea? I said, iced tea, you want some? They did. It was hot anyway. They enjoyed the iced tea. It was fairly decent. They kind of giggled about it and could not quite understand why somebody would call in. Well, the reason that person called in, we found out later, was that they weren't invited. They thought that we might be talking about them even. Well, from then on, I made sure that person got to come over to the cookouts and enjoy some of that iced tea. And that person went from being a recluse, pretty much, to the life of the party. That was a wonderful human being we invited. And nobody had thought to say, hey, man, we're having some burgers and stuff and some iced tea. You want to come over and join us? And the first few times, that person shied away. And I understand that. But I didn't give up. And after I left that neighborhood, it was that person's backyard where the cookouts were being held, and the fun was. So you never know. You never know the changes. You never know what you might have that is of such grand value in a person's life that it can totally change. I can tell you that person was no longer lonely, and that they were having a great time at being a kid again. Some people reach a certain age and their hair turns white and they get away with everything that a kid does. The only difference is our parents are not in a way to smack us down and make us behave. So that's part of the reason that old people act funny sometimes. So these are the things that people need to consider. This is the calming influence that you need to have on yourself. Yeah, I'll be excited. These are extraordinary times we live in. The excitement is what keeps me going. And yet, there's a lot of people out there that haven't heard. There's a lot of people out there that don't know. We need to get as many people as possible to go over and say, hey, man, we're having some iced tea and burgers. You want to come join us? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, is it okay? We usually have some iced tea left. Is it okay if I bring some over? Yeah, I guess so. Bingo, the door's open. Now, what you do, as it states in the Matrix, somebody can show you a door. They can even open it for you. You are the one that's got to step through that. You're the one, you're the leader. You're the one you see in the mirror. That's it. You lead yourself in the direction you should go. Just like training up a child in the way they should go. Well, this way is a combination of not having to live by the gun any longer, not having to be a martial arts master so that you know you can defend yourselves against somebody that there's a group of 3 or 4 of them over there and they're looking at me, kind of thing. Not having those kinds of worries anymore is what this is supposed to be about eventually. Now, right at first, there's going to be some fun, and believe me, we set this sucker free. Can you imagine how long it's going to take us just to go through the IRS? I mean, good grief, we're going to need everybody and their mother-in-law just for that one alone. Now, think about how many other places there are where they get the same amount of records. We got to go through and review all that stuff. What a mess. So, you know, we're asking for, I guess, housekeepers, actually, and people that ain't afraid to talk to somebody. Other than that, you know, enjoy. Welcome to the ride. Is that pretty good?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Just giving people a quick update. We have 111 people listening to the radio station. We have 7 people in on the conference call. And we have how many people in chat? We've got wow. We're almost more than I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We've got 20 people in one thing in chat. And that means we've got a whole lot more people to spread the word to, just to give everybody a feel of what's going on in the chat room. Apparently, the energy has turned very dark on the chat system of the of your former home, and apparently they just haven't come over here yet, and that will happen. And somebody got turned off by all the negativity and left. I hope they came over here. There's a lot of people that don't do Facebook, so I guess what we need to do is we need to let them know what all of the communication channels available to them are. I will start with the Global Voice based information services. We do have the Global Voice 2012 Facebook page. That is a Facebook group. We have picked up upwards of 100 members in the last hour. And there is plenty of room for everybody. We're just going to breathe in and just kind of pack into the corner and just make sure that everybody's got room. And we've got our chat system, which is available 24/7. That is chat.globalvoiceradio.net. It does ask you for a username and password, but that is for some of the private and higher functions. You don't need a password to log in there. All you've got to do is type in a name and click log in, and it will log you in under that name. And I have not figured out how to modify that welcome page yet to add that little snippet of information, and I'm still diligently working on that as I work on other things. We also have the Global Voice 2012.us website. That is www.globalvoice2012.us. That website will have news, important information, archived radio programs, and everything else. Also, just by going to www.globalvoiceradio.net, you can listen to any of the archived programs. You can either play them or download them to your computer, your iPod, or whatever, and listen to them at other times. Pardon me. Thank you, Mr. Halls. Now, Drake, if you would go through some of your websites and some of the other ways that people can contact you. There's a whole lot of people asking, how do I get the green light? Because they had been told that Freedom Reigns was the only place to get it, so now they're kind of in the dark. And if you could want to talk about your website, AmericanNationalMilitia.com, for a little bit, and give them a couple of other ones, and also mention the other radio station that we're working on a simulcast arrangement with. I'm sure that would be information they'd want to hear.
Okay. Let me see if I can dig this out of my notes here. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I've got some notes here. I've got AmericanNationalMilitia.com. That, of course, is still pasted to a Post-it note on my forehead, because that's where I told you it was going to be.
Yeah, well, you need to hook that together with globalvoice.us, your website.
Uh-huh.
Join it. Join the website, my website, and you get an automatic email. If I post something, it automatically goes out.
Okay.
Let me see here.
We also have Truth Finders Network.
Yes, and Truth Finders Network is where a lot of the underground people listen for news, views, and things they can use. And Truth Finders is also another place where a lot of people from the different freedom networks ended up, simply because they don't have any, they don't operate in a controlling fashion. Meaning that if you go there, you'll either hear some four-letter words and things of this nature. It also means that these people are free to express themselves in the best manner they can. I've always found that four-letter words when you're a little kid, yeah, it gets you a lot of attention. Sometimes it's painful attention, but it does get you some attention. As an adult, it has a tendency to look at the educational background of the individual. You're supposed to have more words in your vocabulary than having to use that. American Underground Network.ning.com is a place where you can get information.
That was dot what dot com?
Bring on a lady by the name of Lady Dragon. I have to contact her tomorrow and let her know that things have moved so that she's aware of it.
What was that address again?
She's a Canadian who is looking to try to set Canada free. I've also worked to some extent with the people in Australia. We have listeners in just about every European Union country there is, to include Russia, China, Taiwan, India, Pakistan, you name it. A lot of the troops have learned about these radio shows through various means. I did an addressment of the troops, and that addressment of the troops basically outlined a combination of things, primarily lawful and unlawful orders. You don't engage unarmed civilians, be that in this country or others. The problems that are going to arise are simple. If a person doesn't get something on their hands, they're not too concerned about it. Now, in some cases, we use toilet paper to take care of that problem. In other cases, we divorce ourselves at a distance from the horrors of war. It used to be clubs at close range, or swords, or something of this nature. It was easier if you could keep somebody who only had limited weapons at a distance and still do them damage. So then you got into spears and arrows and things of that nature, and guns. Now, in the new age of electronics, we have a video game that's basically played by drones. And what you got is you got a screen, and you got a joystick. And it's not much different than the games that you see on TV. And that's a shame, because I guarantee you that there are a lot of people, once they get pieces of somebody on them, don't want to do that anymore. And that's true of both sides, irrespective as to the disagreement or difference. Man was designed to be the crown of creation, and there's a problem with that. And that is that you got to know how to wear that crown. You have to know how to be the crown of creation. Now, this is described, and yeah, it's a biblical reference. The crown of creation means that you are to be the crowning achievement, which means you got to be a lot more than what a lot of people think. I'm in touch with a lot of people. RAM, website. Let's see here if I can find it. I got a lot of notes, 5 or 6 tablets full. The U.S. militia is another place that I post. And people have to remember something. A lot of people shy away from the militia, whether that's a website or not, simply because they're afraid there are going to be problems with it. Most of the militia websites are simply informational websites, and the deal with that is very simple, that they are well organized. They do have a little bit of a military flair to them, but it's basically organization of it. The militia, or a militia, website offers, I can say just about what I need, and that sort of thing, which is true in a lot of cases. There's a lot of information that can be found on these websites dealing with militias, and there's hundreds of them. You've got websites like OneFreePeople.us. You've got LB Bork, You've got things like Texas Freedom School or Freedom School Texas. Either way, you'll find it in there.
What about the 3%?
That goes with the freedom philosophies. Yes.
What about the 3%ers? You know anything about them?
I don't have a lot on those guys right now because they haven't done a lot. I am looking to see them start coming up, primarily because of the ideologies of freedom that are beginning to become known by as many people as are willing to listen. This is the other hard part. 3% was the percentage of people that fought the Revolutionary War, freed this country. So, what's 3% of 300 million? 3 million.
Yeah.
This time, hopefully, we won't have to have a whole lot of gunfire and the nasty things that transpired during that period of time. The idea behind this is to be a peaceful transition, so everybody needs to definitely pay attention to that idea. If you look at things being able to be done in a lawful manner that does not cause problems, and I'm talking about rioting and all this other stuff, looting, whatever else you might run across, then you're going to be in a good position to be able to have a smooth transition. So, if somebody is really looking to get themselves into other freedom movements, Lady Dragon's website is fcm2012.com. And she's a dynamite lady. Sure you guys will have, I know some of you have heard her before. And she's somewhat of an IT expert, among other things. So, the list is almost unlimited as to where all you might be able to go. Foreign countries, and I mean a lot of them, have listings of websites that were oriented to freedom. And if you go looking, you'll find it. So, the thing that you have to look at is that it ain't just us. This time, instead of just setting the United States free, just instead of procuring our own freedom for our own reasons or selfish means, we're doing this one for everybody. It was a shock to me that as many people listen to me as I found do. Now, as far as extra information, hopefully I'll have some by Wednesday. I'm hoping that there will be some advancements and things of that nature by or before that time. I would love to be able to say, yes, sir, we got it done. All right, is everybody ready? Woo, here we go. It's kind of like that feeling you get, the thing clunks up the hill. You get to the top of the hill, and only a chicken don't raise their hands when they go down the other side. Oh, yeah, roller coaster time. It's going to be that exciting of a ride. Think about being one of the original patriots that put this all together. What they must have gone through. Think of how deep their convictions were. Think about 3%. That ain't very many people. So, how far can you go? What can you do? You could be a 1%er as far as that goes. People that think that's an outlaw deal, and in some ways it would be. I'm sure that we would eventually make the FEMA list of undesirable people, or Southern Poverty Law Center might say something about us being all being terrorists, as they've already done. But the case is quite simple. Yeah, some of the people that are in charge, as such, presently, should start being fearful. A lot of people are waking up. The more we can go out and reach out to somebody and wake people up, the better it's going to get. This is just simply how it is. Now, there was a little incident, and I'll give you an example of this. It's called community. Some of the western towns are very tight communities. Anybody who's traveled out west knows this. You go out in the woods to small towns in America, just about everywhere, and it seems like you're a little bit closer. They know people, people know each other, and you can tell that they know you're a stranger simply because they're looking at you. What's neat is that essence, that basis, that backbone of community revolves around freedom. And one of those freedoms is to take care of business.
Moderator has disconnected. The call will now end.
Oh, that's special. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're still here.
Who else is on there?
Who I got?
Yeah, Drake, I had a question. I was wondering if you knew who Stu Webb was, and do you know about the Wanta, Reagan, Mitterrand protocols, and are these the collateral accounts?
I think Drake was connected. I think Drake was connected through the other room.
Yeah, we're going to have to hang up and then dial back in.
No, actually, we had two conference systems together. One of them just dropped off.
This call?
Yep, this is the Global Voice radio chat or conference system is still open. It's still on. Give me just a second, and I will add Drake to this call on Skype, and he can just continue on that theme. Oh, wait, he's offline. So, well, I can call him.
Was he on Skype?
No, he was on another conference system that was conferenced into the conference system that was conferenced to us.
Good.
So we had we had quite the interconnection going on, and apparently that other conference system.
Man, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Minuteman.
Hi there.
How y'all doing?
We got a beautiful moon out here.
Okay, Drake. What happened was the other conference system that we were connected to, that you were connected to, that dropped off and dropped everybody that was connected to it. So I just brought you back in.
Oh, that's nice. So are we still on the air?
Yes, we are.
Oh, cool. I'm just getting ready to eat dinner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Is it possible to ask questions?
Hey, why don't we let everybody think about their questions and tune in Wednesday?
Yeah, and what time did we settle on for a show on Wednesday? Was that 7 p.m. Eastern we had talked about?
Yeah, that would be a good time. It does allow some people, they can catch into the show. People that get home on the West Coast, and of course the East Coast. I don't want to get. We kind of play it from there. This is what we found was the best timings. Wednesday is a good day for two reasons. People have gotten over Monday, where they had to crawl back to work after being off Sunday, and Tuesday they perk up a little bit because they're getting used to back in the swing of it. And by Wednesday, they're looking around for something else to do other than watch soap operas with the wife. So we get online and listen to the shows like ours. The other day, actually is a good day, is Sundays. Those 2 days basically would be your best days. And I make it generally a late Sunday afternoon, at least 3 or 4 o'clock, somewhere along in there. That generally is time enough for the game to have been played out, or close enough to an end that they're not really watching it that much anyway. And there's a lot of people that also get out of church at noon. If they'd like to tune in and get a little dose of freedom, they can.
Okay. All right. So 7 p.m. Wednesday, and let me pop up my calendar here really quick and see what day that is. That will be the 6th of June. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. We will have Drake on with updates and information. We will also be integrated with the conference call system, and that phone number for the conference call number is 805-399-1200. 805-399-1200, and the access code is 153938. The chat room will be open at chat.globalvoiceradio.net. So if you cannot get to a phone, but you can get to the radio and want to ask a question, just pop it into the chat system, and we'll make sure that it gets answered. In between now and then, I would suggest that everybody share that information with friends, neighbors, relatives, particularly anyone that you know of that may be on another site that is feeling kind of lost at the moment. Most of us, of course, have been blocked. We don't have access to those people anymore. But we want to throw out as broad a welcome mat as we possibly can. Just let everybody know that there is a home for everybody here. That's what this is all about. So with that, I'm going to give it back to Drake for a minute so he can say his goodnights and bid his adieus and things like that. And then we will be wrapping up, closing the call, and going off air for tonight. Drake, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want everybody to know two things. I try to watch my language while I'm on air, simply so that it doesn't offend people. Some people take offense at that, whether some people realize that or not. I also try to watch the content in terms of not being nasty, either to individuals or groups or organizations or any of that. Even though I do have a bad taste in my mouth for the federal government because it is a corporation and it shouldn't be there anyway. But I think we're in a position to begin to rectify that problem. Now, the second part of this is very simple. It takes everybody and their mother-in-law to do such a thing. And I'm talking about extraordinary effort, extra effort by those who can do certain portions of this freedom effort in terms of what it takes to get it done. And my little moniker that I borrowed from the cable guy on the Redneck Comedy Hour is "Get her done." Well, that's all well and good, and it's fun. But this is actually quite a serious matter because there are a lot of people who do not know what freedom is and what to make of what to do with it once they do get it. So I'm going to probably try to con a friend of mine by the name of Terry Hinkle into doing a show that deals with unalienable rights, what those are, and the things that go with it. The other part of that is that we have a combination of people that are working with me, and these people have access to people such as names you'd recognize if I were to say them. I'm not going to say them until such time as we get them in a position to be invited on our show. I am going to make contact with a combination of well-known names, celebrities, etc. We're going to see just how far this rabbit hole goes. And hopefully tonight and other nights that the military and militias do listen up, do pay attention, do understand where this is coming from. I'm not a BS artist, as a lot of people would like to hope that I was, specifically those people that would like to keep their power. The federal banking system is going crazy. They don't know what to do. And now they got all these people out there jumping up and down, screaming and waving signs. And that does bother them, believe me, it does. So, Occupy Wall Street, or Occupy, does have a place. I'd like to have these guys so nervous that they sweat blood. There are a lot of this, a lot of the things that have been going on have been a theft of one form or another. There's the financial theft. You get taxed when you're not supposed to be, among other things. There's also the emotional theft, where you cannot be in a position to spend time with your family because of your having to work so much. Then there's the other theft of the freedom to be yourself. And I think those three are probably the crux of the matter. And they're everything that I can do to attend to those things, I'm going to do. I would like to have an extraordinary amount of people join me in the voice, like the old movie states, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm a human being. I deserve certain dignities. And you people think that it's funny to put me in the trash can. And, you know, they went to the window and they hollered, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, out the window. We decided that forming the pot and pan terrorists was a good idea. This is primarily involving ladies. And I don't know if anybody knows the history of the suffrage movement in order to gain the vote for women, but that was one. Very simply, all the ladies decided not to do their ladies' job any longer. That means that the laundry didn't get done, the kids were not tended to, and there was no meal on the table when the man got home. Now, I'm going to expand that, and I'm going to bring it up to date. Very simply, anybody out there, and I will suggest that there are a lot of ladies who put up with a lot when they don't have to. And I make this suggestion, and I don't make it lightly, but I make this suggestion. I want you to think about what would happen at a major bank if all of the executives' wives dropped the kids off. Here, go play with Daddy. Bring the dog, by the way. Kids got to have something to chase. If you don't make dinner, who's going to do it? Does the guy know how to cook, or is he going to end up eating bologna after he works 2 shifts? I mean, there's simplistic things. How come the house didn't go? Well, where's my laundry? Well, oh my goodness, you mean I got to do everything? Ooh. You can get the point across, and that's a two-way street. The men can also do it to whomever doesn't really want to listen. You can also discuss things in a relative manner. Right now, most people have been beat over the head. They're trained fleas. They do not jump above a certain height. They do not get out of line. And the reason for that is that you've been brainwashed. You have been trained like a good little monkey to do as your master bids you to do. This needs to be changed. And it starts on a personal basis of, is that really what it's all about? Is that all there is? Is that my limitation? Or am I a better person than that? And it don't matter what your gender is. It does not matter what your sexual orientation is. It surely does not matter where you come from. I don't care if you're green with bright pink polka dots. Don't matter to me. I'll probably look at you funny for a while till I get used to it, but I ain't going to worry about it. It's time for people to look in themselves, find the content of the character that they know that they have, know that they can be as their grandfathers were, the brave pilgrims, the brave men who set us free in the beginning, and actually make the transition by getting up off the couch and joining in the fun. That's basically all I have to say.
All right. Well, thank you, Drake. I appreciate you being here, and I'm sorry for putting you on the hot seat and turning it over to you at the last minute and actually going live with this. It's just something that I felt needed to be done because there's a lot of questions in the Global Voice 2012 Facebook page. Lord knows there's a lot of questions elsewhere on Facebook. People are concerned about, okay, well, where do we go from here? And I wanted people to know that we were ready to welcome them with open arms, to bring them into our system so they can get the information they need. And I appreciate your flexibility and your ability to roll with the punches and go with the flow and hit the ground running. And I'd like to commend you on the fabulous job you did tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would also like to thank all those who are in the chat room that are listening on the radio. We have 677 total people visited our radio station and are probably still listening now. We have more people logged into the chat room than I can count in the amount of time that I wanted to devote to it, but I did want to thank everybody for being in the chat room. I also want to thank everybody who contributes on the Global Voice 2012 Facebook page. And this is community. It's all about localization and getting to know your neighbors. You know, get to know their heart, then get to know their head, then get to know their name. So with that, I'm going to bring the program to a close. We're going to do a quick station ID, quick spot, and then we're going to end it with a sing-along of Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Thank you. I am Paul for the Global Voice Radio Network. Thanks again to Drake, and thanks to all of you for listening.